A visit to cinema is a little outing itself. It breaks the monotony of an afternoon or evening. It gives the change from the surrounding home, however pleasant. Said by the Welsh actor cum composer Ivor Novello, cinema is now the most recognized and popular art form in the world, and our Indians' share in it is significant. Good morning, everyone. Today I am gonna present my thesis on the project Film Factory Unifying Fragments of Cinematic Imagery. The core hunch of this project is to create a film facility for South India, particularly Kerala, that supports the formulation of a movie from its conceptual stage to its final market output. Cinema today has evolved with the aid of technology and digitalization to an extent where imagination could be transformed into living visuals. Considering our case, cinema, like cricket, has added up to even the patriotism of our country, more than a mode of entertainment. On an average, 2000 films are released in India every year in numerous industries and dialects. Speaking about its economical strata, cinema machinery follows three tiers of economy. The first is direct input, which is involved with monetary aspects of the production. Second, the indirect input, which is the fiscal account of those which act as services for the cinema. The adjacent and demand effect. This is the tier where cinema attains its harvest period, when all the amount spent changes into broadcast and is profitably reverted back to the investor. In our country, cinema is taken in more than 15 languages. This diversity caused the movie industry to be split into subunits based on dialects of Indian subcontinent, from which South Indian movies account for about 52% from Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Kannada and Tulu languages. The first ever movie to be produced in Kerala was in 1928 by J.C. Daniel. The Malayalam film culture, unlike the South Indian languages, follows a unique mode of content creation which gives predominance to emotions, and these contents are fruitfully harnessed unlike other languages of South India. Despite of having a smaller audience population, Mollywood gained its popularity in 1980s when numerous movies were remade in other languages. The map shows the existing film facilities within our country, where we could observe the lack of a facility in Kerala. The notable film studios in Kerala includes Navodaya Studios in Maryland Studios and Chitranjali Studios in Trivandrum and Udaya Studios in Alleppey. The objective of the project is basically uniting all the processes in movie making that ranges from concept, pre-production, production, post-production and broadcast. Now the next step was choosing a site. Kerala has 4 main film shooting venues, which are Trivandrum, Kochi, Palakkad and Kozhikode. Out of this, Palakkad was chosen due to its extremely beautiful scenic quality and its relative proximity to various film production venues in South India. A wild study was conducted through popular locations of Palakkad that included places like Ottapalam, Kava, Malampuzha and so on. The location that comes about midway from all these locations happened to be the site. This was a village, Ramanathapuram Gramam, 2 kilometers away from Palakkad town. This area has been marked as mixed use industrial commercial area in 2020 master plan of Palakkad Corporation. The site has been under private ownership for about the past 21 years. It was an agricultural area until 2008 and a barren land ever since. Ramanathapuram Gramam is situated towards the east of Palakkad district. It was earlier one of the 18 Iyer villages of Palakkad. The highway project connecting Palakkad to Farouk changed the fabric of this area from a temple town to a residential commercial area. The site is immediately near to the 22-meter wide highway with a site area of 16 acres. Moving through the various layers of the site, the major land use from this area is that of residential as we move from north and south of the highway, and those nearby the highway are commercial outlets of particularly of vehicle workshops, warehouses, storage units and so on. All the barren land around this region is covered with grass, and the only shrub to tree vegetation is found in this area is that of residences. The site happens to be at the lowest point within the region. There is a presence of small water body at the center of the site, which is a micro catchment of water. Considering the circulation around the site, it is accessible from the southern and northern sides. The entry towards the southern side is primary entrance adjoining the highway, and the entry to the northern side is the service entry to the site. Looking at the micro context of the site, the Iyer village is presently the residential commercial mixed use areas. These areas are 100 to 120 meters away from the site used to be an agraharam having a temple settlement. The active residential zone that replaced the Iyer village leads to the service road onto the site. The road is about 12 meters wide here. The exits are placed considering the traffic through the road. The edge conditions to the northeastern sides are defined by agricultural fields that primarily grow banana plantation and coconut groves in it. These don't have a specific boundary. The street edge to the south of the site is shown in sketches that shows the pattern of commerce in the region. The active temple town to the south of the site is about 135 meters away from the site, and the housing layout here is arranged around the temple pond. These areas don't follow a specific architectural pattern. The images numbered in red shows the views towards the site and green shows views from the site. Now, considering the climatological aspects of the site, the dominant wind direction is west-southwest with an average wind speed about 60 to 80 km per hour. The counter direction gives the local winds of breezes at lower levels. The openings are placed based on this. The general climate of Palakkad follows a hot and dry pattern. The average temperature around this site is 35 to 40 degrees Celsius. During hot summers, the grasslands catch fire. The vegetated areas tend not to catch fire. The sun study shows the area receives a lighting to a level that it could be used for solar power generation for the facilities use. The pattern of shading also has been found based on sun study. From all the site-specific data and analysis, I arrived at the strength, weakness, opportunity and threat of the site. The strengths were easy road access to nearby major cities that host movie production. The presence of nearby local movie shooting locations within 5 to 60 kilometers. The weaknesses were the climate and atmospheric conditions that are hostile considering human comfort. The temperature soars as high as 40 to 50 degrees Celsius on peak summers. The images from the above slide shows the fifth slide shows the extent of the fire caught to the grasslands over the peak summers. The opportunities were the views of people nearby the site. The region is commercially less active, although the potential to harness various cottage industries are more. Such a project on this region might act as an urban plug-in that awakens the transit pathway. The threat to the site are again the climatic factors which pose a great threat. The summers poses the risk of peak wildfires, and the monsoon season here poses the threat of waterlogging as the site is one of the lowest point in the region. The strategic zoning based on site analysis is as shown in the figure. Now moving on to the case studies, each case study was done based on certain aims and objectives. These were divided as film cities and film studios based on their designs. Ramojirao Film City, Hyderabad, designed by architect Nitish Roy, is the largest film city in the world. The aim of studying this project was to understand the site zoning, tourism management and cinema shooting within the facility. The image shows the site zoning. The spaces are presented based in order of circulation followed by a tourist user visiting the facility. The activity pattern as shown in the figure, the tourist group visit the facilities mainly during the holiday season like Dasara, Diwali and Christmas. The cinema workers use the space during July to November. The mode of circulation here is vehicular oriented. Looking at the site, the campus is set on a valley between two hillocks. The general climate of the region is hot and dry with wind funneling in due to the valley. The spaces are taller in order to pass the heat away. The drain pattern is as shown in the sections. Moving on to the spatial analysis, the exterior spaces studied were the gardens and the landscape designs which acted as a venue for both shooting and tourism. Each of the landscaped area within the campus is having multi-visual access so as to facilitate the movie shoot as well as improvising the tourist visual experience. The gardens were made from different gardening styles across the world. Considering the interior spaces, the indoor shooting venues were studied which had fixed design parameters like height, services and structure. The second case study, Chitranjali Studios, is a film studio in Trivandrum which mainly deals with post-production activities of films. The aim of this project was about studying the spatial quality of editing spaces and mini-screen shooting area. Spaces like recording theatres, preview theatres and indoor shooting floors for reality shows were studied. The campus consisted of three main areas: the administration, the editing space and the shooting floors. The third case study, Disney Digital IM Studio, situated in Novato. The core idea of this project was to study the subunits of post-production that included color labs, VFX studios, concept studios, dark and light spaces for editing. Also, the circulation system for this project showed a pattern of presentation which is used in the main design. The next case study, Pinewood Studios UK, helped me to understand the requirements and services of indoor shooting floors. Pinewood Studios deals with indoor shooting and post-production that is much similar to my project brief. It consists different types of shooting floors, editing and recording studios based on each requirement. Each of these requirements were studied and the spatial requirement in terms of quality and quantity were separately assessed. The second film city under the case study, Dada Saheb Chitranagari, Mumbai, or rather known as the Mumbai Film City. The aim of this project was to study the site zoning and identify the range of mini-screen activities for a film city. The key functions and scale of projects done in Mumbai Film Cities are as follows. The facility hosts mainly two functions. These are film tourism and exterior and interior shooting of movies and mini-screen programs. The infrastructure facilities include exhibition venues, shopping spaces, restaurants, accommodation facilities, about 40 outdoor and indoor shooting sets, 16 indoor shooting floors, editing studios, dubbing, sound mixing studios and offline office spaces. About 520 acres of land consisting of hills, valleys, plateaus, natural forest, bushes and wetlands. The overall zoning pattern is based on linear pattern where the individual spaces appears as branches from a central avenue pathway. The last case study, Prayag Film City, Kolkata. The aim of studying this project was to identify the site zoning and identify the range of mini-screen activities for a film city. The film city hosts two main functions, which are film tourism and exterior cinematography. The general planning and zoning of the whole campus is based on radial zoning concept, where the key idea is segregating spaces that diverges from a central node. The central node is given utmost significance where it is associated with a landmark, that of landscape element. The immediate areas near the node are gardens. Several gardening techniques around the world is used for this purpose. Unlike Ramoji Rao Film City, the key process with the film city is just limited onto production stage, that is just the shooting. The gardens have a special take within the film city. The rest of the areas diverge onto different radiant subnodes and form the entry of spaces like outdoor sets, accommodation, recording theaters, workshops, etc. The key architectural problem with the master plan is the walkability error that is progressively degraded with subsequent nodes. Comparative study for the film cities includes noting and analyzing the parameters of site zoning, open spaces and circulation. Points from each of these parameters were took for inferences. The comparative analysis for the film studios included the parameters site zoning, spatial qualities and circulation. Since each of these projects took over different functions, spatial requirements for each were also studied for designing. Through the stage of design programming, activities for movie making were noted down, which included a split up in production, pre-production and post-production activities as shown in the figure. The demographical data were formulated on this. The spaces too were segregated, keeping in mind the phases of movie making. The public population participating within the design is about 10%, who happen to access the space for viewing performances and participating in mini-screen programs. 65% of population is that of the cinema workers, namely artists and technicians. The rest 25% of people accounts for the administration of the whole facility. The split up of spaces along with their respective areas are as shown in figure. Coming on to the master plan, as the figure shows, the site is divided into levels 83.5, 85, 87, 88 and 89 meters above sea level. The lower levels, which are to the west side of the site, contain spaces for pre-production and post-production, with spaces 1, 3, 4 as administration building, post-production facility and concept studio. This level has its landscape counterparts as 5, 18, 17 as the central node garden, maze garden and agricultural area respectively. The vehicular parking are shown in cyan and vanity parking are shown in violet shades. The total parking slots units required for the facility as per KMBR is 55 for the post-production facility, 10 for administration office and 25 for accommodation. The shooting floors coming under the industrial building is attached with a common parking lot towards the east side of the site. The upper levels of the site is zoned for the production area for the shooting floors and accommodation facility. Getting in detail to the zoning layers, firstly the landscaping scheme was followed up by 3 gardening styles: the maze garden, the central node garden and the forest landscape. The pedestrian pathway connecting all the spaces, the built and the unbuilt ones, are staggered at regular intervals so as to attain numerous different architectural frames, which is part of the special topic. Coming back to the gardens, the maze garden is a gardening scheme inspired from the 1985 Kubrick movie The Shining. This was intended to give a surprise revealing to the viewer a set of installations within the garden. From its functional point of view, it leads to the amphitheater performance venue. The central garden is a nodal garden that separates the car and pedestrian pathway. This was designed understanding the significance of focal point in a campus. The forest landscape connects the pond and the shooting floor. It forms the main trail along site area. Hence, the truck route was zoned at the peripheral region of the core campus. The car and pedestrian pathway is interlinked until the post-production facility, which then splits into two. The pedestrian pavement throughout the campus is staggered at 10 to 15 meters for truck path, 5 to 7.5 meters for car path, and 2.5 to 5 meter for pedestrian path for attaining different frames as mentioned earlier. The site comes within the lowest point in the region. The micro catchment came because of this. So as a precaution, this landscape is kept under boundary and no built form is zoned near it for the minimum 5 meter. The core activities within the administration building is governing the whole facility, marketing films and previewing. The design ideologies for zoning was solving these activities as a working office and meeting area spatial requirement. These were zoned on to ground and first floor separately. The official space hierarchy is segregated through the internal water body, splitting the office into accounting, supervising and board directional area. The post-production area is the part of the design where most activities come under one roof. The functions within this space were the VFX studios for movies, color grading labs, VFX concept studio that has motion capture tech, preview theaters, its local administration, and finally the music section. These are separated and classified as public and core work activities based on public interference in it. The working studio and color labs come under the visual working core. About 180 people are the population size for this activity. The working studio requires its own secluded atmosphere and classic studio processes. The color lab is a light obstructed area for better functionality for editing. This space has individual consoles so that at a time 6 movies color grading could be done simultaneously. A transition lobby connects the working core and the public areas. There are 2 kinds of theaters within the facility. The smaller one, 50 seaters, for local previewing, and 90-seater one for the final previewing. The administration area also includes a conference space within it. The music studio is the next working core placed at the top level within the facility. Based on requirements identified from standard practices, the recording studios has been classified as type 1, 2 and 3. The first 2 are for adding fine and background details, whereas the third one on the upper floor deals with all recording and mixing processes. The section shows the contour manipulation of the facility. The layout of the working studio was that resembling our maze garden, where the larger semi-open cubicles created an interest in circulation and improvised discussions within the studio. Natural light wells within the courtyards were given flag walls as presentation mediums, inspired from Disney Digital IM Studios. The concept studio was developed based on interviews from renowned Malayalam scriptwriters Lohita Das and Ranjit, where they shared their idea of a cozy space for creating a story. The space includes auditioning area, custom landscape that transforms for the user, and music composing space. Moving to the next set of spaces, the indoor shooting floors. These were divided into 3 based on their individual functions. These functions are addressed as follows. Studio functions host the functions of reality shows. The space requirement here is that of production storage and makeup space for participants. The circulation followed in this system is made more convenient so that back-to-back performance could be easily done. The shooting floor 2 holds the function of mini-screen programs like talk shows, teleserials, which primarily focuses on having a permanent fixed environment, which is the props used for shooting. A longer proportion of floor size is required for this space, adjoined by smaller ancillary spaces. The common space in this system is only the backstage console. And finally, moving on to the production shooting floor 3. These are venues for hosting big screen projects like films, documentaries that is dependent on a manipulated reality. The visuals shot on real time are set through a customizable medium, which is then edited on for the required output. Physical requirements like SFX plays a vital role in such functions. The image shows the spatial zoning of the shooting floor 1, where the performance stage along with the ancillary areas are bound to the production storage and makeup room at the ground level. The first level is occupied only for the roof garden and VIP waiting area. The image shows the longer performance stage where every ancillary facility is zoned on either side of the performance stage at the ground level, followed by backstage console and VIP rooms at the first level. The shooting floor 3, as said earlier, the performance area is the central core on which the ancillary spaces are attached, supporting the functionality. The accommodation facility primarily caters the function of mass dining for cinema sets. The general practice of dining is in a self-service methodology in movie sets. Hence, the ground level is zoned mainly for mess and kitchen. The subsequent 2 levels having single and suite room occupancies at each subsequent levels. Also, the mandatory ancillary facilities like health club, swimming pool, reading room are also provided in this. Now, moving on to the special topic. The idea of imageability involves with creating a campus using architecture tools like paths, edge, node, and landmark to define a logical storyline within the whole campus. The method used in this design is creating cinematic architectural frames. For this, the tools used are serial vision, static and dynamic contents interrelation with frame, principles of composition. For instance, the entry could be kept as an establishing short frame where the level difference between the road and site could be used. The space should be designed considering both the eye levels of the road and the site. Film sets as well as the internal streets could be set based on paths that act as visual access. The building massing could be based on possible crowd activity in each area so that humans could be used as dynamic design elements. Landmarks and the background subjects are customizable and aiding the key human subject to be emphasized. Light and shadow patterns from spaces used for thermal comfort as well as aiding the subject to be focusing. Shadow tools, umbra and penumbra is also used for this. Now, explaining the concept of cinematic narration. Cinematic narration actually contains 2 subunits, the narrative and the narration. The narrative is the material factors within the narration, that is the static and dynamic elements, which are buildings, humans and nature, tangible and intangible effects that changes the mood of the narration. Secondly, narration is the concept of storytelling, the method in which the perceptibility is done in a free-flowing manner using specific methods of storytelling. Usually in cinema, the renowned storytelling methodologies butterfly effect and Rashomon effect is used for building the narration. The butterfly effect, the small change that builds up into a large impact, the property of a system in which the small changes in initial conditions can lead to large-scale unpredictable variation in the future state of the system. The Rashomon effect, where visual experiences based on different point of view. The Rashomon effect is a term used to describe how a single event can be described in a variety of ways due to unreliability of multiple witnesses. The serial topic design approach has been translated through serial vision walk through the forest landscape. The tall elements like street light, watchtower, and finally the cut out forces of the viewer or pedestrian to have perceptibility based on elements. At each halt, there is a new volume of creative space that is revealed through the work. For instance, both the tower as well as the cutout only blocks the vision but draws the attention for the user and gives the correct impact of the narration. The change in scale proportion of spaces is used to achieve this. Humans, both stagnant and dynamic, act as the element of the frame. For explaining the serial vision concept, a forward work and a backward work from the forest through the forest landscape is taken so as to explain the frames with detailing with respect to the cinematic frames. Hope all of you have enjoyed my presentation. Now please enjoy the walkthrough video of my design.